Welcome back to the channel, Guardians. In Destiny 2 Renegades, we have gotten 3 new exotics, and in this video, we're going to be making a build centered around the new Hunter exotic, and that exotic is Fortune's Favor. So if this sounds good to you, consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and let's get started. Now, before we get into the build craft for the new Hunter exotic, we should talk about, well, how do you get the new exotic like pieces here? Well, the easiest way is to do the campaign on legendary difficulty. This time around for Renegades, legendary campaign is super easy. So if you're somebody who usually does the normal mode, go ahead and crank that up to legendary. It's not very tough. In addition to that, maybe Hunter's not your main class. The Lawless Frontier activities, they have a chance to drop these exotic keys, so you can get that drop, and then that'll give you the exotic legs as well. But alright, what does Fortune's Favor actually do? So this exotic leg piece, when you land a final blow while you're at full health, or when you're out of combat for an extended period of time, you will slowly start to gain this Overshield. And now, the second part of this is actually the best part about this exotic, is that when you have an Overshield, you get all these buffs to your weapon stats. So increased accuracy, stability, handling, and damage. That damage, I think, is 20%, which is why you see me rocking a bunch of Void weapon surges here, because these will stack together, which means these exotic legs here, they're pretty good for boss damage. So keep that in mind. Also, with this Overshield, this source of Overshield is any Overshield. It doesn't have to be the Overshield that you passively get from this exotic. It can be from something like Repulsor's Brace, or from picking up orbs and getting Overshield that way. Any source of Overshield will do, and you'll get those weapon benefits. Now, there are 2 variations I think we can do to build into this exotic piece. So right now I don't have it equipped, but you can see I put on Fortune's Favor, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Around 5 seconds, that Overshield starts to activate, and then it's obviously going to fill up. Now, your Overshield will be permanent as long as it doesn't get depleted. You can see there on the left-hand side, it says 10 seconds. That does not apply as long as the Overshield comes from Fortune's Favor. So if we get Overshield from another source, the duration will only be for 10 seconds long. But we can bump that up because it takes 5 seconds to activate here. And we want that to happen because with the Overshield, that's what we're basing this all around, because it's going to give us all these weapon benefits. So how are we going to build around this? First off, man, this armor exotic, the aesthetics of it, kind of ugly. I love this change now where you can change the appearance of your exotics with other ornaments. I'm going with deep pockets here. You can see I've got very much of a Mandalorian look going on. Please look forward to a Mandalorian build in the future, but I want to wait till we get the dungeon out and all those blasters. But back to our build here. Like I said, we want sources of Overshield. So let's talk about the weapons first. Anything with Repulsor Brace going to be really strong with this exotic leg piece. I also have destabilizing rounds. This is all just synergizing around the Void subclass. But Repulsor Brace, I think, is the most important one. There are a bunch of weapons that have it. This Compact Defender, I have a tier 5 version of it, but and this can roll with Repulsor Brace and destabilizing rounds, but I didn't get that roll just yet. But at least it has Repulsor Brace, so this can work. That sidearm is actually pretty mid in my opinion, not my favorite, but Fortunate Star here, this is another good pick. And something like Collective Obligation or Buried Bloodline can be good choices for this too, because remember at the beginning here, after landing a final blow while your health is full, Buried Bloodline here, this is going to be a really easy way to leech health, but also give us Devour. This is why this version here is based off the Void subclass. So let's take a look at the super we're picking. So I would either take Deadfall or Mobius Quiver. These were excellent before Renegades, and during Renegades they both have gotten a pretty substantial buff. Really strong, going to be able to spawn a lot of orbs for us and also debuff the targets. So the aspects that we're looking at for this build, or what we should be building into: Stylish Executioner. It's going to be a good way to get invisibility. Invisibility is a way where we can get outside of combat and we can wait and let our Overshield just passively regen with our exotic. But also Vanishing Step is really good too. Not super important, but as far as our fragments are concerned, when our normal shields get depleted and we get a target, or we kill a target, we can use Echoes of Vigilance here to get that Void Overshield. And it's actually a pretty good amount of Void Overshield. So this is a source of getting like instant Overshields in a sticky situation or during like a high activity or high mob activity like the Lawless Frontier, because there's going to be a lot of enemies coming at you. It's a very target rich environment, and essentially it's kind of relentless with how many enemies are coming up against you. So this fragment's pretty good for that. In addition to that, so our void overshields that don't come from the exotic, they're only going to have that duration of 10 seconds. Well, if we take Echoes of Persistence here, that'll be bumped up to 15 seconds. And again, the whole point about this build and this exotic is that overshield. That's when everything starts cooking. In addition to that, I think Echoes of Starvation for Devour. Devour is a great source of healing as long as we're slaying out, which we're going to be doing with this build. Other than that, for your other fragment, this is kind of just up to you. Pick what you want. Grenade wise, I'm just taking the Suppressor Grenade, and then Snare Bomb, you can't really choose between that, but Gambler's Dodge, also no good choice. Honestly, Marksman's Dodge too, this works because this is mostly a weapons build. So if we take Marksman's Dodge, it's just going to give us instant reload on all of our weapons. Really good. I actually like Marksman's Dodge a lot now. But with this build, if you have Overshield, you have all those surges on, Leviathan's Breath here as an exotic, holy cow. This is absolutely going to slay out. Even prior, again, to Renegades, when it came to boss damage, Leviathan's Breath was always kind of like a sleeper. I would always bring it in. I'm always doing like very close to the top, if not the top damage, with a weapon that not a lot of people I feel like talk about. So this weapon's really going to shine against boss damage. So this is version number 1. Well, what is version number 2? Now the second variation that we're going to be making here is Prismatic Hunter. Now even with Void Hunter, as far as your armor stats are concerned, I kind of skipped over that with the Void, but they're both kind of the same, where we want to prioritize our class stat here and just make sure it's over 100, because even a little bit of Overshield, it's going to work with our exotic leg piece there. So class, that's important. Super, pretty important as well, to make sure we're getting Deadfall as often as possible, or Mobius Quiver, and then maybe your weapon. The rest are kind of up to you. Now with our Prismatic here, really the key takeaway is taking Deadfall here, but also Facet of Purpose. Every time we pick up a Orb of Power, we're going to be getting Overshields. Feeds right back into our exotic. How are we going to be getting Orbs of Power? Well, Deadfall there, that'll give us some, but something like Void Siphon here on your helmet, that's going to be really useful. And since we're going to be creating a lot of orbs, we can go ahead and, with our class item here, put on Reaper and then Powerful Attraction. So that way every time we dodge, we're going to pull all those orbs into us. And that's going to give us a lot of, again, Overshield, which is going to keep our Fortune's Favor here procced, and we're going to be doing a lot of weapon damage. So those are kind of the two variations that I've been playing between. I really don't have a favorite, but the easier one to use is probably the Prismatic one, just because it just relies around making Orbs of Power. It's very simple, very easy. Whereas the Void one, a little more give and take, because you're working with Devour, you're probably relying on your weapon a little bit more, and then also your class dodge ability. But when it comes to both variations here, I don't think we need to worry about the artifact. I don't even have it fully unlocked yet. And this build is working all on its own. And again, we're just focused on Fortune's Favor and making sure we have Overshield. So that is the build, y'all. But let me know what you all think about the new Hunter's Exotic. I could see it catching a buff a little bit down the road. Maybe shortening the timer of when the Overshield starts to charge up again. And then maybe bump up the damage it's providing your weapons, because keeping Overshield, it can be a little tricky, but that 20% damage it's pretty good overall, I would say, when it comes especially to boss damage. Really going to be good here with something like Leviathan's Breath, which, whew, about time this baby got to shine again. But anyways, guys, that's the video. If you made this far, thank you very much, and I will see you next time.